Hi guys, my name is Borodante and welcome back to Overpain Review Edition. So today I'll try to go through as many of your guys' submissions on my Patreon page as possible, giving you some advice and reacting to whatever the hell you did on those pictures. First patient, Federico Giordano. I actually already went through this picture a little bit before I started. Hi Boro. Hello Federico. I've been watching your videos for a few years now, and even if my style is closer to anime than yours, you have helped me improve a lot. Yeah, I can see some shading going on, looking good. Anyway, here is a drawing I made of Michiru Kagemori from the anime BNA, Brand New Animal. I looked it up, it is a furry anime. She's a tanuki beastman, which means she has attributes of a tanuki like tail, ears, and fur. Tanuki is a Japanese raccoon dog. Are all raccoons dogs? I paint a lot of furry characters and I often find, well, with furries you either paint none of them or a lot of them. And I often find trouble in making the fur subtle but noticeable at the same time, and I don't know if I managed that in this one. Other of my concerns in this particular painting includes the direction of the light, aerial perspective, and to a minor degree, the abstract background, which I'm not used to paint. I hope that this is somewhere near your realm of knowledge, and that my 5-year-old English level didn't make this hard to read. It was alright. Alright, so this is the initial picture. As you can see, I added a lot of space around the picture. Like, I wanted to increase the size of the canvas, but then I realized, what about just doing this? This looks kind of cool. Like, in any case, you want to do whatever you want, but you need to increase space around the character. I don't know what it is about so many submissions having the crop like so pixel precise around the character. Why? That's a tangent, literally, with the edge of the canvas. So yeah, I did this so far. I also improve this abstract background, as Federico mentioned, so I cut out this part of the character and painting around behind her. I think this kind of look, like increasing the glow and making it more all over the place, really helps highlighting the silhouette of the character, because in here, like, this hand it has like zero contrast. I get that it's darker because apparently the light source is like going from the camera or something, but it doesn't mean that it makes sense to lose the outline, the silhouette of the character. Making the background brighter like this lets us actually see the hand. I'm kind of not a fan of positioning the hand like this when it just sticks out so weirdly. I did it myself a couple of times. I'm still not very sure about what to do with it, other than just avoiding this particular angle plus position. I don't know, at least like showing something. Maybe a little bit of the sleeve right there would help, you know? So we could do that. And another thing is this hand, it's still touching the canvas like that, so I was thinking it would probably be best if that arm would actually be sort of like this a little bit. I have no idea what I did there, but I think it might work out. Let's see the color. Let's just fill it in to see if it works at all, you know? Oh yeah, look at that. Such an awesome three-dimensional feeling, how the size of this hand is showing the perspective comparing to that hand. Really cool, kind of dynamic. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at this. Looking pretty cool. Again, we could just continue the background all over the place and continue that leg. It would probably be bent like this, so it would have this dynamics going on, and it would be a pretty awesome picture. By the way, I think I forgot to at all talk about the rendering of the fur. One thing I'll just quickly mention, that the shading on the fur shouldn't be that high contrast. Thing is, if the surface is curved and the lighting kind of hits at different angles, the surface becomes darker and darker as it faces away from the light source. That's why we have this stronger contrast. But with fur, we have these hairs sticking out, so each hair is looking directly at the light, and only a little bit turning away, and that makes the lighting overall a lot more flat. The highlight like this, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Any highlight on a furry surface needs to be spread. This is a perfect place to give a little bit of a hint on the fur. This is a perfect place for that. So there you go, a furry leg without the intense details or anything. And yeah, just making that shading a lot more flat will make it look a lot more like actual fur. Next patient, Low Star. Hello again, Boro. Hello, Low Star. You posted a lot of pictures on my feed. You always do that. I thought maybe I'd submit something a bit more simple as well for your overpaint. I was inspired to try my hand at rendering a magical ring. I went into this blind, and shame on me without any references, with some notes I wanted to hit: resplendent healer's ring, magical rose gold with opals. Thank you for all that you share with us. I look forward to your videos and I can't rush to them fast enough when I see that you've uploaded. Thanks, that's very nice to read. So let's see about that ring. So I guess no actual problems with the composition, he said as he moved everything upwards. A bit better this way. So first of all, since this is a ring, a cylindrical shape, be not afraid to apply reflection shapes that are appropriate for a cylinder. Yeah, you see, it's always, even if these fake ones, product renderings, but they always have these lines that go along the cylinder. That's the only way reflections can go on a cylinder. Yeah, unless it's curved like this, then it's more of a this kind of cylinder. Then it's the opposite, so you kind of have to figure it out. So I'm gonna introduce a little bit of these lines like that. And thing is, there's also this curvature, like this whole thing is straight, but then we have this curvature. So this ring is a little bit like rounded in all dimensions. So in that case, this line on the cylinder, it usually goes like that. So in here, it sort of gets eaten away a little bit. This surface starts looking elsewhere, and this, whatever this shape is representing, it's probably already ended because suddenly in here this curvature starts looking away really fast. That's why this line quickly ends. Let's say it's something that's sticking out of the ground, and then that's the ground, and it's sort of... I'm also using the reference right now, like this one, you see? That's literally the curvature I'm repeating. I'm just also kind of explaining it. But yeah, I used to be doing that before on some paintings, not really knowing well, because I myself should be looking a lot more at this kind of references. And yeah, the thing with metals is that all of their reflections are always of the color of reflection, contrary to plastics or just organic stuff that is reflective just due to water particles on the surface, like glossy skin or something that's also oils. All of that stuff reflects with the actual color of the whatever it's reflecting, but metal sort of like applies its own Instagram filter on top of everything that is reflected on it. So rose golden ring will reflect everything in rose golden gamma. And yeah, the stronger the curvature, the tinier the lines of the highlights will be. Like a lot tinier. Sometimes it almost feels weird. And it requires really intense precision, which is kind of a bummer to do, but you kind of have to. In this case, it would actually make sense to even use like, you know, like actually draw a perfect ellipse in here and then follow it like a ruler. Reflection on these strong curvatures looks like a very squished image. Literally, that's what it is. It's a squished image because the curvature makes every little point on the surface looking at the completely different direction, vertically in this case. That's why the whole image is squished into this small area. And yeah, as we go brighter and brighter, we need to move it a little bit to yellow. Let's say this highlight right here will be extra strong, and then suddenly getting much brighter like this. But it's really important, even though I'm adding a pure white color right now, it's really important to have this colorful edge around this strong white highlight. So we would understand that this is still a rose golden colored highlight. It's just that it's so bright that it's overexposed and it looks like it's white. So that's what you do. Anyway, gemstones. One thing I can say, except for look up the reference, is like this is a reflection, and I also like doing this part. I don't know, I don't have a lot of explanations to this. I haven't looked into it that much, the whole gemstone thing, but doing like an inverse highlight, like something close to the way the iris on the eyeball has the inverted shading. It probably makes no sense and it's not true in general, but it kind of looks cool. I guess it does make sense in some cases, not necessarily in this. What is it, like topaz or what? Opals. So yeah, I'd go with something like this. Generally, it's heavily dependent on the actual shape of the stone, of course, so maybe certain things would have interesting, unusual shapes, like special kind of shapes of the actual highlights, or maybe there would be an extra bright little broken thingy inside or whatever. And yeah, some reflections on gemstones. So yeah, I'd go with something like this. There you go. Doesn't really look like metal, that's for sure. Like reflections. Yeah, I'm definitely not experienced in this kind of stuff. Next patient. Images load for so long today. What's up? Oh, by the way, don't mind my insane setup that I have today and the way it looks really weird next to this display. This is a work in progress. I'll make an episode on this sometime in the future. Finally. Whoa, that's a big picture. So this is the second submission from Lowstar. Hello again, Borodante. 2020 has been a nightmare. You know what? I'm gonna read it by myself and tell you something. Okay, so this is a commission, and Lowstar was really struggling with it for a while. The whole thing is obviously Star Wars, and the story is simple. A former Sith, the blonde, is being trained by a Jedi Knight, redhead, who is levitating candles. The former Sith was supposed to strike the candles with precision, but instead it was a waxy massacre. Waxaker. I see. Honestly, it was hard to figure it out. I just avoided looking at this area. So yeah, I don't even know how to quickly help you out here, Lowstar. Your approach with art requires a lot of time and thought. So I'm immediately fixing this leg. This looks just horrifying. I don't know why it's like that, but obviously if the pelvis is rotated the way the torso is, and it should, then one leg should be in front of the other and not just standing next to it like this. This looks like she accidentally cut herself in half. Honestly, I'm really confused with these legs. I think they need to start higher too. Now, let's have a look at the bigger problems. Legs cut off. Again, the legs. There's something like very dreadful with the legs overall. Like the energy of the legs is cursed. I don't even know, man. Like, I feel like your problem comes not from something that can be solved with painting over stuff. More like starting over would help, meaning completely different composition and stuff like that. Like some good old thumbnailing would help. So let's say this character is standing like that, and the horizon line, let's say it's down there, like really low, and therefore our mentor is standing over there somehow or something, going like, oh no. Yeah, and maybe we would go with a little bit more interesting perspective, like the whole thing would be tilted like this because the horizon line is low. And you know, it would make things a bit more interesting because in here in the picture, we have so much of this empty floor and you don't know what to do with it. why are you showing it then? I mean, I added most of it. But still, even this, like, what is this part? Why is that here? It's not showing us anything. So it's best to just tilt things in a way that, like, cut off these legs even much more, and make sure you get the feeling like this character should be smaller. I feel like she should be standing at certain distance away from this training ex-Sith. Because this close is kind of weird, like she's almost just having a conversation with her and she's fighting some candles for some reason. So yeah, some distance would make sense. And showing the main thing that's going on, so she's cutting the candles. That's the main thing, that's why she's closer to us, higher contrast and everything. And the reaction of the mentor should be less important, it should be further away. So yeah, I don't know, I feel like I paint around trying to improve things, but they are just on such a hostile base. Angle and like the composition and poses and everything is too much stuff to just paint over. So yeah, do some thumbnails like this. It's really easy to do. It would be so much faster for you to just start over several times, the way I recently did with the Black Widow, and then choose something that will go so easily. It's just so much easier. It shouldn't be this hard. It's this hard because you don't like the composition. So yeah, rethink all of it for sure. Like, why do I have so much empty space and these two characters look like they're equally important to the story? They're not. This one is the main character and that one is the second part of the story. Next patient. Oh my. Henry Geisen? Hi Boro. Hi Henry. Problems are a lot. This piece was struggled into existence. I had problems with details, lighting, composition, colors, and I also used too many overlay textures. You monster. The image is basically just what you see. This is from the world of a comic I'm trying to make. However, there isn't enough lore yet. Basically, this family of giants is roaming around unaware of the humans living below. This onlooker was supposed to improve the composition and show some scale. Really? You think it shows scale? I think I've rambled enough. Have a great day, stay safe. I really hope you get to this one. Thanks, you too. I will. Let's start. So yeah, honestly, the part with the giants, everything over there, I kinda like it. It looks really fortunate. This guy is a big problem. I'm gonna just quickly remove him completely and see where we can put him to improve stuff. Because you mentioned you put him here for scale, but he is literally defeating his own purpose by being bigger than the giants in the picture. That's not how you show scale. The buildings over there, they do it right. They actually show the scale because they are smaller than the giants. This guy is bigger than most of these giants in the picture. Let's pretend I totally can pull off quickly redoing the whole bottom part of a picture and everything will become awesome. I'm gonna introduce some dynamics in terms of like stronger perspective maybe. There will be somehow. I wonder why the picture is so washed out in general. I kinda blindly trying to follow it, but I don't like it either. Why are the mountains so close in brightness to the sky? And like because of that the sky is so bleached as well. Like it's ground. It makes sense for it to be a lot darker than the sky. Otherwise the sky would be literally white, completely overexposed. Sky is always a lot brighter than the ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to do something here. So yeah, about the guy, I think he should be like here. There we go, I think I like it much more this way. Let's see, I feel like I may have robbed the picture of the important character or something, even though, like, it's not the right place to introduce the character, for instance, if this is the kind of shot it is. I like how the grass is showing us that this is really a close-up and everything further away is noticeably smaller because nothing like that takes place. Like maybe show the difference in scale by putting a much smaller bush somewhere. But yeah, like one thing you need to make sure you do, like I've seen it so many times, any kind of professional artist painting over submissions like this, it's always some kind of fantasy story where there's a giant and the warrior that is fighting that giant, and the warrior is really close to the camera, so he looks much bigger than the giant. The giant doesn't look important at all. Are we showing the giants here? If we do, everything else needs to be smaller. It's not a place to show the strong perspective where another figure is much bigger than the giants. It literally makes no sense. So try to avoid doing that. So in here we have a really strong perspective going on like this. And we see how even though we're much closer, this character is a lot smaller, showing scale well. Yeah, aside from that, I really like the picture. Was a bit overexposed. I think I kind of fixed it. But again, it was overexposed because everything else was like a background and the foreground was really dark, but that's exactly what I removed. So I fixed my own error, I guess. But at the same time, making most of the picture overexposed because we need to show this dark guy. Is this guy like in a cave? Why is he that dark? Like, higher contrast is one thing, but this guy is overall just much darker than the giants. I kinda did the same thing, it's just further away. I don't even know what I'm talking about here. There we go, I don't know. A guy in a red shirt. Next patient. JC Toem. I remember pronouncing that. Did I do JC Toem's artwork before? Saving a picture from a bad brush mistake. Hello, Barodante. Hello, JC Toem. I hope you're well, and I wanted to thank you for reviewing my work. I continue to learn, and after your review, decided to work more with gradients and zooming out when I painted. The problem here is that I was using a new program, and I was unaware of just how grainy my brush was. I originally wanted a sketchy style, but it is just awful now. I love this piece so much. Do you have any thoughts on how to save this without starting over? Yeah, a cool shot. It really is. I hate this, but you already know that. Let's quickly do that because I can't. Wow, that looks disgusting. You probably have a pretty bad display on your monitor, just like I do. Yeah, I don't know if you can fix that. Let me think. Honestly, for my situation, for my position, I would totally just blur it a little bit and then paint on top of this. Like that. And this way I would just introduce a better brushwork, I guess, with a clean texture. In terms of these scarf bits right here, it's a good idea to make one of them longer than the other, because they were like literally even. Kind of lacks some dynamics. I would maybe do like some kind of smoke fog to fill up this space, so it wouldn't be just floor. Yeah, I feel like picking up some dust like this would be pretty cool. Well, there's wind going on, right? So it makes sense that there would be some dust picked up. I feel like this story needs some storm, like lightnings, yeah, but generally the environment is so cool. It kind of looks like a stormy weather with these heavy clouds, obviously. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here really. In terms of fixing the brushwork, obviously I'm not doing that. Well, yeah, I guess the best thing I can advise you to do is to apply a little bit of vertical motion blur, because this weird canvas leathery texture, it has horizontal strips. So just applying vertical motion blur, it makes it a lot easier on the aesthetics, I guess. This part where the background becomes brighter, I would actually go with this much brighter color for the lightning, because that's pretty much the way it works. Lightnings in general should better be painted in like like a linear dodge add mode. So when you paint in the dark, it will look like this, but on the brighter parts, you see it becomes white. So that's what you should be doing as well if you do it manually. Also, yeah, I would show some of this dynamics a bit more. Try to be expressive with the lines when it comes to lightning like this. I feel like it would show a lot of this awesome expression of the character, of his power. These lines, it's kind of hard to explain how to paint them, but you sort of like draw a line and then sort of without releasing, you draw a dot. And that's a cool way to draw a line, kind of making this spastic line with the nervous stops and differences in speed. You should really do that a lot. It feels really cool to get that kind of look. So yeah, it may take quite a few times to find a good look. Like, it would obviously work much better if I would completely erase the original ones. But just adding on top, you kind of see the contrast between the old brushstrokes and the new ones. Like, these are very static. They feel like they're in place. There's no dynamics to it. And these lines, they really feel like they're fast because I actually make my lines, I draw them fast. So yeah, that's what I have to say. I don't know how much help will there be with getting rid of the texture, but yeah, I think vertical motion blur will do the least damage to your actual details and the most riddance of that disgusting artificial leathery texture. So there's that. I guess this is all the time I have for this episode of Overpaint Review Edition. Thank you guys for your submissions, this was really fun. If any of you guys want me to overpaint your picture like this, or in a standalone big overpaint episode, the link to my Patreon page is in the end of this video. You become my patron, submit the picture, and write a message. I read the message and overpaint the picture. For now, this is it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!